Hello, everybody. I welcome all of you to the introductory lecture on the tragedy of Julius Caesar. Before we unfold the drama of Rome, the conspiracies, the betrayal, and the legendary speeches, this lecture shall first introduce us to the brilliant mind behind the play, William Shakespeare himself. We will acquaint ourselves with questions like who was Shakespeare and how did a writer born centuries ago create works that continue to captivate readers even in 2026. We shall also briefly acquaint ourselves with Julius Caesar, the towering historical figure whose life, ambition, and tragic fate inspired one of the greatest plays in English literature. But perhaps the most fascinating question of all is this: why do we still study Caesar today? Why does the story of a Roman leader from more than 2000 years ago continue to resonate with modern audiences, students, politicians, and thinkers alike? In this lecture, we begin our journey not merely into a play, but into the timeless worlds of history, power, ambition, loyalty, and the complexities of human nature. So without further ado, let's begin. Power, ambition, loyalty, betrayal, history and literature often intersect to reveal timeless truths about human nature, politics, and leadership. And very few literary works embody these themes as magnificently as the tragedy of Julius Caesar by the legendary playwright William Shakespeare. This is not merely the story of a man's assassination, it is a profound exploration of betrayal, friendship, power, morality, free will. We might often find ourselves pondering over questions like why would trusted friends assassinate a leader they once admired? Was Julius Caesar a dangerous tyrant or just a political visionary leader destroyed by jealousy? Perhaps most importantly, questions like does fate determine human destiny, or do individuals shape their own future through their choices? In today's video, we shall explore the historical background of Julius Caesar, the genius of William Shakespeare, and the timeless themes that make this play one of the greatest tragedies ever written. William Shakespeare, often referred to as the Bard of Avon, was born on April 23, 1564, in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. Stratford-upon-Avon is located in the Warwickshire county. He was born into a very respectable household. His father, John Shakespeare, worked as a successful glove maker, while his mother, Mary Arden, belonged to a very prosperous family. Though Shakespeare did not attend university, he received an excellent education at the local grammar school where he studied English, Latin, rhetoric, and classical literature. This early exposure to language and storytelling would later shape his remarkable literary brilliance, despite not formally being educated. The age of 18, Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway, who was notably much older than him. Their marriage itself became a subject of scholarly speculation. Some historians suggest that it may have been motivated more by social obligation rather than romantic affection per se, particularly as Anne became pregnant shortly before marriage. Together they had 3 children, Susanna and the twins Judith and Hamnet. An interesting period in Shakespeare's life is what historians call the lost years, is between 1585 to 1592, where not much information is existing about his official activities. Scholars speculate that Shakespeare may have worked several occupations before eventually pursuing theatre in London, so this uncertainty adds an element of mystery to his life. Eventually, Shakespeare moved to London leaving behind his family in Stratford-upon-Avon. There he established himself as both an actor and playwright. In 1594, he joined a theatrical company called the Lord Chamberlain's Men, which later became known as the King's Men, under the patronage of King James I, the then King of England. Shakespeare wrote for this company until his retirement in 1612. By then, he had authored approximately 37 plays, including tragedies, comedies, histories, and romances. He wrote 154 sonnets and several long narrative poems. Remarkably, none of Shakespeare's original manuscripts survive today because his plays were never intended primarily for preservation. Those were intended more for performance. Yet despite this, his literary influence remains unparalleled. Shakespeare died in 1616 at the age of 52. He died really young. However, his legacy survived through the publication of the first folio, released 4 years after his death, preserving many of the masterpieces we study today.